welcome to part two of my dance story. And I just finished off talking about some of the binders that I use for staying organized and learning more about the history of the art as well as um, terminology and becoming the best possible dancer that I can be. So next up, I'm going to talk about one of my notebooks that I have, and this is my ballet bullet point journal, and this is something that I started using back in 2020. This is from some of my classes that I've taken, and yeah, so I have notes from some of my lessons, some workshops, and then I even have, so for some of my performances, I find that I need to have some sort of game plan, like a football game. So this is what I have here. So that's what I need to help me with the transitions in some of the performances, because otherwise I'll forget where I'm supposed to go, and sometimes it's not the greatest on stage. So, anywho, I have those, um, and then I have some notes from some contemporary stuff that I did, as well as some of my exercises for getting my feet ready and for turnout muscles. So I have about 40 different exercises that I can do for that, and that's will be in a video that I'll share later down the road. But there are 3 different videos that I could show for that, and the first would be for foot strength, and then another would be for flexibility, and then one would be for a 15-minute foot care day, and then I guess I could do a 4th one, which would be my extended foot exercise video. So that would be everything. That would probably be an hour and 15-minute long video. And I've decided that in order for me to launch that video, I first would need to be advanced in my point work, and right now we're still working on that. So yes, I'll share videos at some point, but I've decided that I need to have certain milestones set before I start to share more online. So this is something that I've created for myself. This is a brand that I started in 2022, or 2023, I can't remember. It might have been 2023. And this is a series of planners that I've created. And at first it was for beauty pageants, because I found that, yes, there are different books out there to help me with my beauty pageant preparation, but there weren't a whole lot that were all-encompassing. There would be things that I would be missing that I wish, that I had at the time of getting ready for some of these pageants. So I decided to come out with a line, and I ended up creating one for ballet as well. So this is Elegance and Winsome 2025, and I'll have more coming out for the month of September, and I'll launch those in the beginning of August. And for the individuals that sign up for, that become subscribers, I will have samples for them, and this would be for the months of September to December, and then I'll also come out with a promo code. And these, you can find these on Amazon. But 2025 is halfway over, so I wouldn't recommend buying this one right now. I would wait until the next few ones come out. So this is the planner, and I'll share some of the stuff that I have in here. So first is the full year spread, and in there, I'll write an overview of what I'm looking for. I only really planned up until August because I got really busy. And then I have point shoe profile sheets, point shoe evaluations. And I used to love doing photo shoots, but I just got so busy, and I haven't really been able to focus on any sort of ballet photo shoots. They've all mostly been for beauty pageant things. And then I have wish lists and budget lists. And then I have a total expense wish list. So all the things that, I would need or want. And I actually need to go back and mark some of these off because I've been able to get some of these over the past year. So next, I'll show you an example. So February wasn't my brightest month. I did a lot of traveling back and forth for family. So I'll share a bit about May, and that's probably one of my better months. So the month of May, this is what it looks like, and then here I have affirmations, and then I have achievements, and then ballets to study. I have The Midsummer Night's Dream, Apollo, Lady of the Camillas, and Aladdin. And then I have some more notes about my goals. And I also had a ballet recital where I did a section of Giselle. And so this ballet recital, it was for an advanced adult ballet class. But the recital was for like the studio for mostly the kids. So I would say that it was more of a warm-up for me, and it was my first time being on stage. And on stage in 3 years. So, that's not a long time, but it felt like an eternity for me. So we are going to change that. And then I have a training tracker, so things that I do throughout the months to help myself to get back in shape. And then I also have special training notes. So for example, if there's a class or a guest teacher that I have that really poured into me, then I would write some of the stuff. So for example, it doesn't even have to be like something that resonated with you in class. It could also be, something that you've watched on YouTube, or a course that you took, or, your self-learning that you do at home. Okay, so for example, I have coach myself. Remember when you feel hopeless, that you've been through a lot and you may not see the results right away. You may not even notice them until one day you're caught by surprise, but it's not quite a surprise because you've been putting in the work and every little bit does count. And then I have defeat is never final. So February 25th, I have class notes. So I have a clear glissade into piqué passé retiré. And then I have stronger feet, holding my core, better posture, don't look down. And then I have confidence goals and technique goals. And for example, I have my current to April. Current would have been February. And I'll show you what that looks like there. So that's what I have written. My confidence level was at a 6 in February. My technique level, I'm being really harsh on myself, but I gave myself a 5. And I would say now my technique level, I'm at a 7. I would give myself a 7. And the reason for the 7 would be, I'll give myself an 8 when I reach the level of professional in ballet. So yes, I've, trained as a professional for years in other styles. I've always been on the cusp, but for ballet, it was always, in the background. So I really need to focus on ballet in order to be able to give myself a 9. Confidence level was at a 6 because, I didn't feel super flexible. I was just getting past some sciatica, and now I would say on a level from 1 to 10, my sciatica pain would be at about a 1. And that's like, sort of random throbbing that I'll get, in the back of my knee while I'm sleeping kind of thing. So, I can go and I can do over splits. I can, kick my face and, I won't have any sciatica pain. So we're doing great compared to last year. So last year, June, I ended up in a little car accident, and I ended up going on a run like the next day, and that was a really bad idea. And I ended up with some sciatica. I think that could have been avoided, or, it would have been a little bit more mild than it ended up being, but I ended up with like throbbing pain all the way from my lower back down to like my calves, and now my right calf it's a lot tighter than the other one, mostly because of that throbbing pain. It's like your muscles tense and they tighten up. So it was a nerve issue that I really had to work on, and yeah. So something else that I have, some more notes. I have feet, needs a lot of work, arch strength, toe strength, plie, pirouette pumps, practice, flexibility at the top of my feet, less body fat. So I'm aiming for a fitness bikini competitor body because being strong is really important for longevity. And I'm a strong believer in athleticism, and that the stronger that I am and more fit and athletic that I am, then I'm able to do more and have that stamina to be a part of a 1 or 2 hour full length production. So that's really important for me. And then I have written here that I want to work on my bun and makeup. So, I don't always go in with, a full face of makeup to ballet. It's usually what I already have on from work. But I really want to work on some of the looks from the different ballets. And then I also want to work on professionalism, so being on time, and being present in class. And that's something that being present is something that I really need to work on in every area of my life. So that, and then I'd also like to work on terminology, learning to remember, and pattern recognition. So that's some of the stuff that I have in this book. And then I have travel packing lists, stage playbooks, so those football pictures that I had shown earlier, that's something that I would do there. So for example, this is what I have. So that's a little guide that I have in this book. And then I also have, this is something that I started originally for the Extreme Makeover or Beauty Pageant books. And I haven't started on these just yet. These will be for a day where I'm less busy. And then I can get back to some beauty routines. So in addition to all of my books in terms of terminology and the videos that I use, I also have my terminology bank, and these are all cue cards from beginner to professional. And so for example, these are cue cards that are really important. For example, I have different positions of the body, such as croisé derrière, and then I have pictures and everything. So that is what I have in this handy dandy velvet case. So this actually was a makeup case, and it is absolutely beautiful. And I think, if I can recall, I actually think that I got this from, I think that this would have been from Victoria's Secret. So we have that. And I'm just going to put this pen back in here. And I'm sure there are things that I've forgotten about or I haven't shared yet. And then I also have another binder for some of the things that I'm creating. Trying to think what else there is. I think that's it for now. And you can click on the videos that that have what's in my dance bag, as well as my dance and fitness trunk that I have at home to keep me fit and strong. And that's all that I have for today, and I hope that this video has been helpful, and I hope that you're also able to get focused and organized. And you know what, you don't need to wait until January rolls around to make New Year's resolutions. I'm always editing my goals and creating. Oh, there's another book. One moment. Actually, I think I'm going to leave that book out, because that is a book about my personal goals and how I break those down. So a few other things that I use to stay on track of some of my goals. And thank you again for watching. And again, my name is Kimberly, and this is my YouTube channel that you can check out some of my progress for my dance, my bikini competitions, or beauty and lifestyle. So that is a bit about my story for how I started ballet and my dance journey. And you know, I would say that I was never an extrovert, but you know what? I'm I'm one of those people where I'm an introvert, but when it comes to performing and being in the arts, I can appear to be an extrovert, but it's really just a part of my personality where I love creating and you know being on stage. It's like you know being in another world, and you're able to create and share some art. So yeah, so that's a little bit about me, and stay tuned for more.